My dad always skated, so I thought it was cool, but I never actually got into it. I would sit down at the skate park and watch him skate with his friends, but I never really thought much of it.
I was looking out my window and I saw this guy push by. And just the way he was pushing, he wasn't doing any tricks. He was on the street, and I wasn't allowed to play on the street. I was like, what's this guy doing, ripping down the street? That's so sick.
One of my best friend, he had a mini ramp. First time I picked it up, it was like love at first sight. I just couldn't stop skating, and I've been skating ever since.
My friends from school started skating. My friends could kickflip, so I wanted to be able to kickflip too. I never ended up stopping. I just kept on progressing over the time. Even though my friends stopped skating, I kept doing it.
I asked for a skateboard over and over, got one for my 4th birthday. And that's how it all started.
Skate community in Toronto is pretty tight. Everyone knows each other. It's cool. We all try to help each other out. I'd skate at a park like this because it has pretty much everything. Flat ledges, flat ground, flat rails, down rails, sets, hubbas.
I started excelling fast at a young age. At 7, I took a 2-month break for the winter. And I thought I was done with skateboarding. My dad actually took me back to the park. He's like, "You're acting weird, you gotta hop on your board." 2 months off the board and I dropped in. It was so exhilarating, I never stopped again.
I think I first started to get super psyched on skating once it just brought me to different places.
I remember I went to Woodward. That's a camp in Pennsylvania. I met all these people that I'm friends with now. Some of them are even pro. And I remember the level of skateboarding was so much higher than what I would think kids my age could do.
Andy Anderson's a well-respected skater from out west, BC.
Andy's like a genius skateboarder.
Skates just about anything. Vert, bowl, street, even freestyle skateboarding, which you don't see a lot anymore.
He'll see something and the way he skates it is so different to how you really think of skating it.
Andy's style of skating is very unconventional, and I feel like he's so fun to watch skate because you have no idea what he's going to pull out.
I excel mostly in skateboarding at balancing, stationary balancing, manuals, 1 wheel, 2 wheel, 3 wheel, 4 wheel. 3 wheel's the weird one.
JS is a skater out in Quebec.
Yo, JS is the homie, and he's amazing.
Kills it, great skater. Throws a lot of flip tricks, a lot of park and street skating.
He was actually one of my favorite skaters when I was a kid. He should be pro. He's really good. He could spin into tricks on rails, or could skate sets, or flip into them. He could skate switch into them. He's all around really amazing skater.
Jaden Bono is one of Toronto's youngest up-and-coming skateboard top guys.
He's been skateboarding since he was just a little guy, and he's still young and absolutely shreds.
Jaden's potential is really strong. If he can focus and stay as determined as he is, and if he can stay healthy, he's got a lot of potential behind him. He's really good.
I guess he's known for his short fuse when he's younger, but he's definitely toned it down. He's a lot more professional, more mature now, and he's a good kid.
Jackalope is an awesome event. Skateboarding happens to be a part of it, so I'm here.
It's one of Canada's biggest skateboarding contests. They invite skaters from all over the world to skate, and kids are gonna watch it and be really stoked, and makes people in Canada hyped about skating.
So for those guys that shred in their local hometown, that want to try competing against guys from all across the country and sometimes other countries, Jackalope's a great way to do that.
It's a great mix of all these crazy different people that are crazy in their own way about whatever they're passionate about, and we can all feed off each other.
This weekend is going to be really eventful. There's going to be qualifications on Saturday, which is all the local people and people from Canada, States that are trying to make it in the semifinals and the finals. And then those are going to be on Sunday. All the guest riders are already in the semifinals, so I get to skate on Sunday, which is awesome.
I'm just gonna try and hit every obstacle and not fall. That's all I can do.
Honestly, I'm just hoping to do the best for myself, so I'm not really trying to compete against anyone else.
In 2017, I won Jackalope. It was pretty cool. I was stoked, you know. Got to go home with like a good memory and had some like cash in my pocket, which was sick. And the party was dope too, because like I just didn't care and I was able to like party, like turn up, you know, like to the max. Didn't really give a shit, you know.
We are at the Olympic Park, Parc Olympique, 7th edition for Jackalope. Day one usually is where we set everything, the pace and what we want to do, and this is crucial for us, you know. But unfortunately, sometimes, you know, Mother Nature is not on our side. Right now, as you can see, we still have the bashes on the ramp, so whenever it's wet, we just stop. It's already dangerous like that. There's injuries, you know, during your practice and everything, learning new stuff. Rain, just like stand by, we send the guys at the bars.
Skateboarding's been through so many phases, and it obviously started in California.
It was a 2x4 with roller skate trucks attached to it, and evolution of urethane really progressed skateboarding. It allowed you to go to different speeds and maintain a grip and skate different obstacles. Late 70s it died out just due to a lot of money being sank into it and nobody was sticking with it.
The people that were skating just kept on doing shit. They kept on doing their thing, you know? And then like more kids were starting to skateboard, like more kids were getting into it.
In the 80s, we saw it go through a punk, rebellious, counterculture stage that through the 90s, it turned into more of a fashion trend-setting era. And early 2000s, it was really, skateboarding grew to the large scale because of popularity of a video game.
Tony Hawk did so much for skateboarding and made a really good image of skateboarding to people that don't skate. And Bucky Lazick, like both of them are fearless and have like done the craziest type of stuff. They have like all my respect.
Tony Hawk being at Jackalope is awesome. I've grown up playing all the video games and watching all the videos.
We are here to do Skate BMX exhibition on my personal ramp. I brought some of the best riders in the world, some legends and some new skaters, and we're gonna put on a show.
I feel like I could have done better. What happens is you train for the event, you do your best to practice as much as you can, you end up injuring yourself just a little bit because you're pushing too hard. During my run, I was just trying to put down as many tricks as I could. A big thing I don't think people realize is the amount of cardio that you have to put into skateboarding. If you are not able to keep your heart rate up for long periods of time, you get sloppy, and that's a little bit what happened to me, but I'm never upset with how I do.
I remember like I went on this trip and I like jumped down a big set of stairs, and after that day of jumping down a big set of stairs, my legs were like so sore, my muscles were like giving out on my legs, like I couldn't like bend all the way. My body like couldn't handle it.
I like to do a lot of physical therapy, like with my muscle, and try to make it as loose as possible so I can keep skating for a long time.
I don't think like going to the gym and like just trying to bulk up is like exactly what you should do. I think it's more functional training, you know, that will help it. You know, it doesn't really matter about like how deezed you are. It really matters about like how capable your body is of doing things.
You don't need a strong upper body. You notice that a lot. A lot of skaters are super skinny arms. But you do need the body that can protect you when you're falling.
You learn to fall by default when you're doing it, what we do, but it's hugely important because it keeps you skating the next day.
It's inevitable that A skater is not going to land every trick, so it's important that they know how to fall safely.
Anybody that's going to get into this, it's not that you might get hurt, you're going to get hurt. Just learn how to get hurt the least you can by learning how to fall.
Oh, learning to fall takes a lot of either practice or natural ability.
We try over and over and over, and a lot of times we're just sort of testing it. And then when it comes time to actually learn it or to make it, to commit to it, you already know all of the facets of it because you've been doing it and falling on it, but in a way that was purposeful.
You can't have any of your limbs fully extended. You always want some lax in your limbs, like that's the number one thing. Oh, you break your arm. You need to be semi-strong, strong enough to lift your body, strong enough to catch yourself when you're falling. You see a little kid fall, and he had his arms there, and he didn't break his arms, but they just weren't strong enough, so he smashes his face. It's a really interesting moment in time when you know you're about to fall. You see someone do it, they'll be like, oh, and then they come up and tell you, I was in the air and I was thinking like, oh man, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. But then at the last second, I was like, no, I can't. And they had a 10-minute conversation, put themselves in their head while they were in the air.
I kind of injured myself last week, so I kind of have like a bummed out knee, but hopefully I'll just be able to skate and have fun with my friends.
So right now, I have an injury, swollen ass, can't really bend over past that. I have a straight back. That's about my limit right now. Before I got on the plane to come here, it was so bad I couldn't push off my board. And I couldn't tie my own shoes. I needed my mom to tie my shoes. It was gnarly.
Riding injured kind of sucks because you're not having your full capabilities.
Skating with an injury plays with your head a little bit. It's always kind of in there, and it sucks.
When I was like 14 years old, I was skating this rail. The front truck of my board got stuck inside of the rail, so it made me like just pitch forward. And I like kind of scorpioned with my fingers out like this, and I broke my fingers and I chipped my tooth. Like I cut my whole face up, like my mouth was bleeding like crazy.
Summer camp, trying to impress everybody, and I put this big long box straight up, and I dropped in and went straight to my face, and just freaking boom, like I had braces on, so my teeth were fine, and my lips were like shredded on the inside. And I was like,
Mental strength can play a great part in skateboarding. Some people are a lot more mentally strong than others. Sometimes it depends on the day.
Being a good skateboarder definitely takes a good mindset. Those guys, they have the resilience, they have that never give up attitude.
To be a great skateboarder mentally, you really need to be determined, and you really have to have a certain drive to remain focused.
It's a big mind game though, especially with like ledges or like technical tricks, because you're just doing the same thing and you're like, what is going on? Why aren't I landing this? You could do a tray flip and you could do a tray flip every try, but like, can you tray flip into a manual and then get ready to do another tray flip out? Like, that's hectic. Skating vert is so scary, like, so the guys that do that, like, big ups.
I can drop in on like a vert ramp, but like I can't do any airs or anything. It gets pretty big, and I mean, you see those people like riding up and down, it's extremely impressive.
I think what draws you to wanting to skate vert ramps like this is the aerial factor. For us, it's more about like the acrobatics and a lot of the technical stuff, as opposed to when you're street skating, most of it is about the rails and the grinds and jumping stairs and things like that. This one is more about what can you do in the air.
park's looking great. It's really fun. That's the one thing I've heard from many skaters is that it's really fun. I wear a helmet when I skateboard. Okay, it's weird. I don't know why it's weird. I don't think it should be weird, but it's super weird.
Andy Anderson wearing a helmet is very unique, but he's also a very unique person. Not everybody is always going to wear a helmet. It's more associated with big transition riders, riding vert ramps, or just larger concrete bowls.
Andy gets ripped on for wearing a helmet sort of in street or freestyle when traditionally people don't wear helmets.
I always wore it when I was a kid, and people would be like, hey, you can't turn 18 and wear a helmet. You can't get sponsored with a helmet. But then I got sponsored with a helmet, and then I turned 18 and I was still wearing a helmet. And I was like, what are these fake boundaries people kept throwing at me, you know? A lot of kids think if you're a good skateboarder, then you deserve sponsorships. But that's like not how it works at all. Like if you're riding a board, some kid's gonna want the board that you're riding. If you're really good and you're some complete jerk, like nobody's gonna wanna be your friend and hook you up with stuff. It's more about being a marketable person more than anything.
A lot of people that get sponsored, like they either love skateboarding or they're just really good at skateboarding, and like companies see that and they want to like help you get better.
When you're able to say you're a sponsored skateboarder, you really do stand out from the crowd, because there's a lot of people that skateboard and just, it never really happens for them.
You could be Flo and you could just be getting shoes, and then you could be Am and you're getting shoes, you're going on trips, and like maybe you're getting paid too. You could be a pro and you could be making like either a little or a lot of money based on like who you are.
It can depend on how many sponsors you have total. If you have a beverage sponsor, if you have a shoe sponsor.
You get a photo in a magazine, you have like all your sponsor stickers on the bottom of your board and you can see them all clearly. You're gonna get paid by each of those companies to do that, you know?
My best advice to anyone that wants to do this for a living is to keep challenging yourself, because if you reach any level of success, that might be a distraction, and that might be what you're looking for, and you're not motivated to get better, and you have to keep up in the ante. You've got to keep sort of reinventing what you're doing, because you're only hot for so long.
I won the World Championships for flatland skateboarding 2 years in a row for amateur division, doing pogos and primos and 360s. And in freestyle, you win the amateurs, you go pro. It doesn't work like that in the rest of it, but freestyle's so knit. To actually get a product with my name on it and go pro within the industry, it's a big challenge.
So judging at skating contests is usually based on the level of difficulty that your tricks are, and also your style and the speed, and that kind of all mashes into like what your scoring points are going to be.
Majority of the time, it's style, it's choice of tricks. I think it's usage of utilizing the entire course.
I've judged numerous contests, from Warped Tour to Volcom to just backyard mini ramp contests, and every time somebody will always have a difference of opinion.
With skateboard judging, it's very different than gymnastics judging. Like if you go to gymnastics, Olympic book for judging, it's like 4 Bibles thick. Skateboarding's not like that. You might lose points because you're wearing shorts.
When you're able to compete and you get into the finals at such a large-scale contest like Jackalope, it really puts your name out in the crowd. You stand out.
You've got to nail every trick. You've got to be creative. You've got to do tricks that other people aren't doing, or do those tricks better.
Well, obviously I wanted to try to win, or just do like the best I actually could. I know I can do this without falling, so I want to do that because it'll make me feel good. I won't go home upset thinking like, oh shit, like I could have done better. I wanted to land at least 3 tricks, and then I just like was like, hey, like I'm just gonna try to skate this giant rail. Like only one other dude skated it, and that was like Andy. It'd be different if it was like a bank, but it was like a ramp, so you are launching up, and then you're landing on something that's going down. It's all jam format prior to the finals, but then in the finals, that's when you have like 2 1-minute runs, and then they do like this thing that's like Street League where you like do a trick and you have to like pick the obstacle and you get 1 try doing that trick.
Guys, on vous aime. Dans quelques instants, sur le podium, la Coupe du monde de skateboard, Jackalope.
I love skateboarding because it gives you a direct focus that distracts you from everything else. And just like breathing's part of my life. Skateboarding, the only way it'll get out of my life is when I break my legs, which could very well happen.
Through skating, it's very easy to get into a really meditative state and to just be in the present moment. So I feel like that's definitely something that's helped me throughout my whole life.
Skateboarding is a good outlet, and it was my outlet growing up.
I've been skateboarding for over 30 years. It's allowed me to travel the world. As a kid, it was able to provide lifelong friendships, and it's something that now, as an older guy, it keeps me active, it gets me outdoors, and gives me a reason to go see my friends, and hopefully I'm skateboarding for the next 10 to 20 years, if not more.
Skateboarding's been a big part of my life since I first started. I think it's because I just enjoy the rush of adrenaline.
I love it the same as I did when I first started. No matter what happens, skateboarding's kind of always going to be there for me.
Do it for yourself and do it because you love it and it's your passion, and there's no bigger value than that.
When I was a kid, I saw people doing aerials out of swimming pools, and right when I saw that, I said, I want to learn how to fly like those guys, and that's what led me here, really, all these years later.
I was into like certain things as a kid, but I never really found something I was like always into. And skateboarding is something that you'll never, ever fully master. You could do a trick 1,000,000 times, but out of those 1,000,000 times, how many times did you do it the way you think is perfect?